Lenihan, Boxing Social and Association Empire Fight Store, our Kings, Johnny Nelson. First off, there's a couple of things, a lot to digest in just a couple of rounds. The stoppage, was it the right stoppage?
Without a doubt. I'd say 14 to 18 unanswered shots. The referee gave him enough time to recover. I didn't question it at all. I know the fans were frustrated because they wanted more with all the build-up and their expectation. But it was the right stoppage, right time, right place.
Ben started quick. Were you impressed with him up to that point? He was very quick. The jab was snapping. I thought Liam had minor success, hitting with a few, and obviously his game plan is let's take him down the stretch and really get into it.
But the thing is, Ben has the talent. Remember, the guy's a silver medalist. He's a talented fighter. But what happened is the guy got complacent in his career because it was that easy. He'd go into the gym and say, "I'm going to do 15 rounds today. I'm going to do this." But after the last fight against Liam, he understood, shit, I'm a talent and I'm wasting it. And so in reality, that had to happen for him to wake up. And so then he woke up and he trained like he should train, and you saw the talent he had. You saw what he was capable of doing. That was important. So what he did was, Liam's a good fighter, but Ben's a potential world-class fighter. And this is what he showed, and he's been wasting it all this time.
Got to ask you, there was a bit of a debacle at the end. There was actually two. One of the main ones, though, so online people were saying, he spat and Grant's reacted. I asked Grant, he said he didn't spit. And I believe there's been a disagreement between every pundit going at the minute. So Dave Coldwell says to me, he says, there's no need to do that. He's gone, put his head through the ropes, it's classless. Says Johnny disagrees, but he says, look, he's an ex-fighter, so maybe that's from his side. So explain it.
So number one, he didn't spit, so people just kept that out because, you see these two guys hug afterwards. So if a man spits in your face, you ain't hugging it. And so and number two, Grant went to slap him across the face. How comes nobody saying anything about that? It was just human emotion, because of all the stick and all the hassle and all the abuse that he's been getting over he's been vilified for the last 6 months, and he was just frustrated. He's in Birmingham. He got booed. Everybody's saying every negative thing about him. Of course it's going to hurt him. He's even thinking, am I washed up? Am I done? Have I got it done? He had to take himself away. So I understand it's human emotion. People that you didn't see. After that part, he went to his dad. I seen the boy filling up. His dad had a word, you just get your chin up. Back up again. You don't see that side of Ben. What I'm saying is, it was just human emotion. So people are making a big deal of something that our sport creates. The fight before, Fraser Clark knocked his opponent out. His opponent's like staggering on the rope. Fraser's like, yes, celebrating. It's just human emotion. Yeah. That's all it is.
I've got to ask you, we did an interview a couple of days ago, and you said, nobody's asking you, Eddie Hearns, your Conor Benns about this gesture.
Yeah.
I did. And Eddie Hearns' response was, Johnny Nelson, he says, I like Johnny. He said in one breath, he goes, I like Johnny, but he goes, there's a bit of a victim mentality and this and this. And he mentioned about things that get done but maybe aren't posted to social media and things like that. What do you make of them comments? Because you said people should be asking him, so I asked him.
And you know what? I commend you for asking him. Now, first of all, victim mentality. I love my career because my career got me to where it was. So again, you're like, what? Back up, man. So there's no victim mentality there because I've been a fighter that's been on an undercard. I've been a fighter that's fought and the fight's fallen through. I've not been paid. I've been a fighter that's not been on the big bucks. So everybody thinks fighters it's only 5% of fighters that are on mad money. 95% of fighters are not on mad money. They've got to subsidise what they do. And so therefore, when Junior did his gesture, and it fell on deaf ears, and neither Conor or Eddie, and I'm not just picking those two, I'm talking your Franks, I'm talking everybody, no promoter has ever done that gesture to say, what, the fight's fallen through, we'll make some money on the next fight. There's a gesture. I'm not expecting a promoter to dig in his pocket if the show's fallen through, because everybody loses money. But in this situation here, Chris said, you know what, the fight's on again, I'm going to give you some of my purse, because I'm getting paid a lot of money, bam, 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 bam. And I'm saying to you guys, ask the promoters, put them under pressure, mark their card, because if it happens again and the fight falls through, promoters are going to be thinking, shit, pressure's on here. Why did Chris make it public? Chris made it public to embarrass Eddie, to embarrass Conor.
To prove that he'd done it.
To prove that I've done it. So yeah, sometimes you do things behind closed doors because you don't want the tap on the back. He still did it, and he still called Eddie. and he called out Conor. But just remember, Eddie and Conor are not the only two people that are in this situation. Everybody's in the firing line. Your Franks, your other promoters, they're all in the firing line. You know, because in reality, your fighters are your commodity. So your fighters are the ones that are putting their life on the line. Your fighters are the ones that are struggling to get in the ring. They've got to sell tickets to cover their own purse. So when they lose out on dough, if you're in a position to say, let me help you out, let me give you a little something. Chris found himself in a position where he can say, oh, let me give you a little something. He's not a promoter. You know, he don't benefit off that. They're Eddie's fighters. You know, so basically, he made it public to say, well, why don't you do it? You know, Chris said, I've been treated like a villain. I'm actually a nice guy. The only villainous thing he's done is smashed an egg in Conor's head. Now, I ain't cool, but what I'm saying to you is, he's done something that, to me, is commendable. And I'm saying to you guys, you ask the promoters, why aren't they doing that? Still, you spoke to Eddie. Some people have spoke to Ben Shalom. None of you got an answer.
He said basically, and he alluded to it, and I think I tried getting out because I said, you said that people don't do things on social media. Are you alluding to the fact you've done other things? Because he's always said, we got him out on like almost the next available shows to some of these fighters. Okay. And I said, all right, that's fine. But he goes, no, look, he goes, I'm not going to say who's done things off camera, on camera. Because he was trying to make that point.
You know what? Listen to me. I used to be promoted by Matchroom, and Matchroom do a lot of things for the community. So I ain't writing that off. They do a lot of things. I'm talking about this situation when fights are falling through and fighters lose out on money. That's what I'm talking about, because I know Matchroom do a lot of charitable things, and they don't talk about it. I'm talking about this situation here, and what Chris did made it public because he's saying, why aren't you guys doing this? And that's why he made it public, and still put his money where his mouth is.
Johnny Nelson, appreciate your time.